Today's interview is a special one. I'm here with an actor who unknowingly helped shape my entry into the world of vertical dramas. One of the very first three verticals I ever watched starred this guy, and he set the bar pretty damn high. With his bold presence, expressive glances, and the kind of charm that sticks with you long after the episode ends, every time I watch a vertical he starred in, my nostalgia can't help but kick in. I'm excited to dive into his processes, his journey, and the stories behind the roles that first pulled me into the vertical drama storytelling. Steinar, welcome to VertiChat with Mads.
Wow. That was like, I am emotional right now. I'm like, I was feeling like, is it tears coming out? I'm like, that was amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Truly, thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. See, now I can't even talk. Like, I'm all flustered. Like,
That was I was not expecting that, but truly, truly thank you. It means a lot to me.
you're welcome. And like, you did. I don't know what it is. Like, you were the third vertical I ever watched. And I was like, whoa. Like,
Which one was it? Can I ask?
uh, the one with Anna.
Succession. Ah,
Yes, that one. Yeah.
well,
I
thank
was
you.
like, you're welcome. I was like, whoa. Because like the first one I ever watched was friggin' what was it called? I think it's like everybody's first one, Breaking the Ice.
Oh, sure, sure, sure.
And then the second one I ever watched was Fatal Attraction with Ian.
Interesting.
And then it was yours, Succession.
They're very different, aren't they?
Yeah. I
You
was like,
got a
I'm just
lot
gonna
of different moods from very early on, didn't you? You got a
yeah.
sports one, you got a mafia one, and you got like a billionaire one in the top three.
I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just going into any genre. I like
Oh, that's amazing. Ian too is a really good friend of mine. He's really good at what he does, and he's improved heaps, and I'm so proud of him as a friend. We went to a movie together yesterday. Uh,
oh,
so yeah, he's a really good friend of mine, and he's grown so much with his verticals, and yeah. But I think all of this we're coming from very different backgrounds, and now suddenly we're getting attention from people we never thought we'd get attention from, and it can be overwhelming, I think, to some. Yeah.
am I like your first like vertical interview?
My first, yes, I had an article written about me, and I've had interviews about me because I'm from a small countryside town in Norway, and I live in Korea as an actor, which is pretty different.
Hmm.
But yes, my first vertical into, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah. But the vertical world has like I was just reminiscing when you were mentioning it, like Succession, which was the first one I did that did well. I had one before that, and just that was like the very first I did was roughly 5 months before Succession. And that was before verticals were big. It was before Realtor. It was before all these apps. And it was like a student production. It was like a like kind of like a free thing where they were only filming in China, and they were just attempting to see, can we film something in Korea. And like everybody, like none of us got paid, and it was kind of like it was just a shit show. And but it was a really fun opportunity for me to work, so I was very happy for it. And but that was a few months before. The app is long gone, the movie is long gone, but Succession was a third being filmed in Korea. The Mafia one was the fourth, and the Succession one, because that one did fairly well. That company is like now the number one production company in Korea for these vertical dramas, and they're filming like one or two a month, and they're filming for now Korean audience, and it all kind of came from Succession and the Mafia one. So I was very happy to kind of be part of the beginning, especially in Korea, and yeah,
Congrats.
it's been such an amazing journey.
Well, I'm glad it gave you more opportunities
Oh, for sure, yeah.
because you are an amazing actor.
Thank you, thank you. We did what we
You're
can, I
welcome.
suppose. And I don't think every time I do one now, it's like all I'm focusing on is how can I. People are complaining about scripts and the stories and the characters and whatnot, but they're all been written by someone for something. Obviously, I try to find my own meaning behind what I need to say, and I try to say it in a way that makes sense to me, and hopefully that makes sense to other people. And even though you have to say weird stuff, it's like to this imaginary person, this weird stuff makes sense, you know, and that is probably the biggest challenge. And like I've done a few now where you do bigger shows, and it's like the characters are so well thought out and the script is so good that all you have to truly do is just live through the script.
Yeah.
But for vertical dramas, a lot of times it's not truly like that. So then you as an actor are being challenged to be like, you have to fill in all the gaps yourself. And that is something that like I'm just trying to prove every time I do a project. And for me, it's such a fun challenge as well. How can I make this character that has like it just do silly things? How can I make him be real in a way?
Well,
And
what's your thought process going into like a role? Like, what do you start with as like your base on building on a character?
um, a lot of people change a lot of the script. I change the script if it doesn't sound like natural English. A lot of times stuff get lost in translation. But I've kind of learned my lesson now. I've done, I don't know, 20. That I'm at the point now where I kind of demand to see the scripts before I do the show, which I know is a rarity, and I know that that's something I have to demand. But I can kind of see if whether or not this is something that I could be okay with, or more importantly, if this is something I'm not okay with, which is the main reason why I'm doing this. Um, but then I read through the full script, and I always kind of note down what I my first impressions of it and my character, because I will never get a first impression again, and the audience will probably only have that first impression. You know, it's so I'm trying to remember
Yeah.
how I first saw the role and how I first saw the drama.
And tweak it to something actually worth putting out.
Yeah, so that's kind of my first one, and then I try to kind of go about it as in I try to write down all the little cues I can find in the script of who I was before the script.
Yeah.
And not in terms of I'm not one of those that like, oh, I went to kindergarten in this city, and I don't build this like super in-depth like analysis of who I used to be, the role, but I do try to find all the cues I can of who I was before this event happened, so that when I get on set first day, I already kind of know the character that I will be. Because like let's say the one I'm doing now, starting on Monday, we fly on Sunday. It's like everything happens in one day. You know, it's a hospital one, and everything happens in one day. So like my whole character has to happen before that one day. And you find all these cues like, oh, why am I reacting like this when they're mentioning this? And okay, that probably comes from, you know. So I try to go as much as I can into who I was as a character. And then I just kind of let everything go, and I just see what happens.
Just let the character out.
As much as I can. And that is why it's like it doesn't matter if I do 20 or 50 or 100, or if I'm doing the same silly stories that people call them. I will always never become that person, but I will keep trying and keep improving to kind of bring life to that character and make him seem like he could be real. I think it's my objective. Because I
And that's
feel
what
real when I'm doing them, you know?
mm, and that's what we need. I like when people ground their characters, not, just be like surface level. I like when they bring like, more of an arc than, I don't know, what you see,
Yeah,
more than
that's
face value. That's what I'm trying to say. More
100%,
than face
100%.
value.
And I think that's something that maybe is working for me or against me, but I know a lot of times like I don't try to ever portray my roles as being handsome. I don't ever care about how can I put my chin down in order. I don't have that, and I don't. But the thing is, we're using this vertical as like as a way to improve and how we can grow and how we can learn. And I don't know. I think like looking handsome or pretty or sexy, that's not my role. If lightning can do it, if camera can do it, great on them. My job is just to be there in the scene and then let the rest kind of happen.
That's where, like, from, I don't know, a few people that I've interviewed, and like, what it, I don't know, casting whoever, I don't know. See, I don't even know that. Like, whoever puts you in a vertical
Mm.
has only wanted them for like their face.
Most of the time, that's the case. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you focus more on that, you probably get hired more. But again, my road is not to become the number one vertical actor in the world, you know? So
Yeah,
I don't really want to, I don't know. I just want to try to be as real as I can. And I think when you happen to have a scene that you truly feel like, this is the conversation feels real, you're kind of flowing in that water that we talked about. When that happens, I think it looks beautiful on camera. It doesn't look handsome, it doesn't look pretty, but it looks true in a way.
yeah.
And at least for me as an audience, I can see that when I look at movies myself. So that's kind of what I'm always trying to accomplish in a way.
Do you ever get told by like, I don't see it, I don't know whoever it is again, like the director or somebody that like the emotion or like, the expression that you're giving off is like, not what they want,
Oh,
but
all
that's
the
how you
time.
feel?
All the time, yeah.
That'd be frustrating.
It is, but then again, your challenge as an actress, how can I express that in a different way? It's kind of like, let's say you're really feeling upset in a scene. There's many ways you can express being upset. You don't have to cry.
True.
So yes, it feels frustrating in the moment, but then again, you have to use your kind of imaginary mind that how can I then kind of still do it truthfully
Yeah.
without going that far or going that deep. It's a
Because
fine thread here. It's like it's a
there
fine
is.
thread between what does a client want. The
Yeah.
client probably just wants you to look handsome, because that's most of the reason why we're getting money, or the
Yeah.
director probably wants the scene to look beautiful, and you as an actor wants you to look like for you to do. So it's like it's so many pieces here,
Yeah.
and you just have to try to find a balance between them all.
I'm just gonna like flip the script here
Yep.
because like I don't even know how to explain it. My first question, that was not my first question. Like we just
Oh,
started
really?
talking. My first question was like, can we start off with you telling me a little bit about yourself?
Oh, yes. It's such a weird thing to be like talk about yourself. It's
I know.
I grew up in Norway. I grew up on a farm, so I know how to ride horses. Grew up with sled dogs. Joined the army. Completed the Special Forces paratroopers in Norway. So I did the army for a year and a half. Hated it. I hate war. I hate like violence. But for some reason, I was bad at school, and I kind of thought that was an approach. I was planning to go to overseas. This was back in when Iraq was a thing and Afghanistan was a thing. And instead, I got convinced by my beautiful mother to follow another dream, which was to go to America. So I moved to America when I was 19, 20. And after a little bit of up and about, I ended up doing a engineering degree. So I studied in America as a software engineer. I graduated and then I worked as an engineer for 5 years, 6 years, mostly within robotics. So I worked in Norway. I worked a little bit in Finland. I hated my job, but I thought I don't know. It's like I think a lot of people do. You spend 18 years of your life, 15 years of your life studying to prepare for a job, and you get to the job and you kind of like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Am I gonna do this for like the next 50 years? This is pretty weird. Um, Quit my job, moved to Australia for 3 years. Um, Moved there, had a camper van for 6 months. And in Australia is where I stumbled upon, and I mean that because I played so many sports throughout my life, and I played some American football in America. And then when I was in Australia and I was traveling, there was somebody playing rugby they needed rugby players for a movie. And back then I was a lot bigger than I am now, and I was fit. So I was like, can you be like a rugby background in a production in Sydney? And I was just traveling in my camper van. anyways, I took my camper van then to Sydney, and I just kind of fell in love with being on set. And this was not, this was not necessarily acting. You're standing there and you look like a rugby player, or, but I think just meeting the people in Australia, meeting this industry, and seeing people are just happy and like getting paid to have fun. Like, is that a thing?
Yep,
Like,
it is.
I didn't know. Like, I've had 10 jobs. I've never had fun. Like, that was so then I kind of pursued that. I worked as a chef on the weekends, and I did acting or background or whatever in Sydney for 6 months. Kind of started getting my breaks there, but then COVID happened and I got stuck in Melbourne. Um, so that
What a
was
place
like,
to get stuck in.
I know, and everybody's sitting there. We're like, we're out of lockdown, and we're like, I'm just locked in. I can't do anything. I can't fly out of the country. I couldn't get paid, so I'm like, I'm just. So after COVID, during COVID, I found another engineering job because I can do that online. Moved back to Norway, attempted a second time this engineering thing, and still hated it, and quit that job again, and then decided to take this step to pursue acting full time. Um, but I still wanted to travel. I've been to 70 countries. I've lived in 3 different countries. Like I love this. So I'm like, I'm still young enough. I can do one last like attempt at living somewhere else and seeing how that goes and exploring cultures and everything. And I'm like, can I potentially combine this, my new passion for acting, and then traveling at the same time? And that brought me to Korea. And then I guess the rest is history. Yeah.
Did you say you visited so many countries or
It's
70?
70. It's cheating though when you live in Europe because you can just like take a car and kind of go about.
See, if I got in the car and traveled 4 hours, I would end up in Sydney.
I mean, I know, yeah. I know. I traveled to like every place in Australia as well because I was living in my camper van. And I've been like in America, I've been to 50 states. So like I've been like everywhere.
Your anthem needs to be like that. I've been everywhere, man. Like,
Yeah. I made it like a conscious decision in America, like every week, and I would like take my motorcycle and just like see a new state and literally just like go across the border, have a burger and come back. But I crossed it off my list. Yeah.
just your list would have been extensive.
Yeah. No, it was cheap. Like, I mean, I had a tent and a car. Like, it's not expensive. I did most of my travels on like the cheapest flights and the cheapest places to live and camping everywhere. And you can travel quite cheap. That's for sure.
That makes me want to do that, and I really shouldn't. Like,
It's a lot
I,
easier than we think. I think we put all these like, oh, we have to have this. No, you don't. You just book a cheap flight, like bring a tent, and you're fine. Um,
like, I've never left Australia.
whoa. Well, you should.
Did I read somewhere that you were trained in martial arts?
I know martial arts from the army, and then I did boxing for some time as well. Yeah,
Does that
but this
help
is
with
not.
stunts?
It's I've done a few stunts, but what I realized when I came into acting, and this is like I moved to Korea obviously to pursue this full time, and I was doing a bit of acting here, but it was mostly commercials and small roles. Like there's good things about working in Asia that there's a lot of jobs, but none of the jobs are big jobs. Like they're all like they need army. You can be army. They need a businessman. You can be businessman. You're not going to have a lot of lines. You're not going to, and that's where verticals came in, which is I'm so thankful for. But I've done so many sports, and I've done martial arts. I've done army. I can shoot. Like most of the things, I've like had my feet wet in them, and I've kind of consider myself the jack of all trades, master of none. Kind of, you know, I've done a lot of things. But when I came to acting, I thought this was such a positive thing. In reality, knowing how to box is not necessarily a good thing for knowing how to movie box. They're very different things.
Oh yes.
Knowing how to hold a gun properly is not how you're supposed to hold it for the camera. because
No.
in movies you always have to the audience have to see your eyes at every given point, right? If you're aiming a gun, your eye is going to be at the gun, so they can't see your eyes, you know? So then you're always aiming a little bit lower so they can see your eyes. Or for boxing, it's like you want to hide your punches. In movies, you want to exaggerate your punches. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure how beneficial it is to know all these things beforehand.
Well, like you can pull your punches. I don't know.
True. Yeah. And sometimes they do want that very realistic way of dealing with things. But most of the time, the people they bring in are the stunt people. And the stunt people are very professional as well. But then the professionalism is not necessarily how to throw a proper punch, but it's how to throw a
Yeah.
proper punch for the camera,
For a movie. Yeah.
you know? And there is a very big difference here. So I don't know necessarily if knowing how to do it properly is a I don't know, is a good thing. Knowing how to do it fake properly is perfect. But yeah,
But no, we were.
that was about me. That was I think I answered. I probably spoke too much already, but yeah, that was how I got into this. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. He's like, thank you for telling me
Um,
your life. What is one skill you never expected to need as an actor, but now you use constantly?
I guess that goes back to what I said I don't like to do as an actor. But it is uh, trying to be charming. That is something like I have never in my life. I've always been like such a faithful one to be yourself kind of thing. But I know a lot of times they do want the chin down, they do want the cheekbones when you're smiling, they want your abs to be in a specific position when you're filming. And I wouldn't even say it's a skill I have. I'm just saying that it's a skill I have to some extent acquired, or at least I know that they want me to look a specific way for some scenes, and now I'm more aware of that, I suppose.
Yeah. So like,
It's a skill I've acquired, but it's a skill I didn't know I had. I didn't know I looked handsome and I do a certain had to move or something like this, or at least nobody's told me before. Um, yeah, I think that's
but not everybody likes to talk about themselves or like, be conscious of the way they look like that, obviously like pointing it out. Like people, you could compliment someone. Yes, you are handsome,
thank you.
but you're welcome. But like, I don't know, the emphasis that Verticals put on it is just
Yeah,
like,
and that is something that I mean, it is a different emphasis than what I've ever experienced before. Especially verticals, even doing commercials where it's like I'm supposed to look handsome in a way. Most of the time, I'm supposed to look like I don't know, happy, satisfied, successful. But for verticals, it's like, how do you do the sexy look? Like you look more sexy, and I'm like, how the fuck do you look more sexy? Like I don't fucking know. Like I'm not this like super sexy guy. Like I am a farm guy. Like I can ride horses. Like I do that shit. But they're like, look more sexy when you look at her, and it's like,
how?
yeah, I am like as far away from like a playboy as you possibly can go. So like I didn't know I had the skills to seduce someone. And I guess the verticals have taught me that at least sometimes I can. And that is weird.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Well, that is definitely a skill.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I think everyone doing leads and verticals at some point during the vertical, they will tell you to be more sexy or like, do it in a way that like, I don't know.
That is crazy.
I think, I mean, that's how it is. Like you are trying to be somebody that they can. You're trying to be someone that the audience will. I get it. I truly get it. Like I'm watching. I'm watching my favorite movies. Or I'll be watching uh, The Notebook or Pride and Prejudice and these kind of movies, and those actors too. I'm sure they're being told it's not always about being real. It's about being real in a way where people can relate to that, or they can like dream about you in a way, or it's an interesting career that I wouldn't. It's just different. It's new to me, and I think if you've done acting for 20 years, it's like common sense. But to somebody doing engineering and being locked in an office most of the day, it's like for me, all of this is it's new to me. Yeah. I don't drink, I don't party. Like I'm not the party, I'm not the playboy that I sometimes have to portray. So
Well, how do you bring a character to life that has those, you know, traits and qualities? Like, how do you, you know,
mm,
understand that and
I
portray it?
think it all comes down to how good your imagination is, which is something that I'm very thankful that verticals or acting in general has brought back into me of like, how can you find your inner child kind of thing where everything was just exciting and fun and you kind of forgot about what was awkward and you know, I think acting does that in a way. And I think the better you are at imagining, the better you can kind of do at acting. And what I mean by that is like I can see myself if I grew up a different place with a different family and somehow things were different that I would could become this person in an alternate universe kind of way. And then it kind of it works for me. But then I had one time where I played more of an abusive husband. Not like in very abusive, but like in a point where I really didn't like it, and I don't accept those roles anymore. But that was like then trying to put myself into the shoes of somebody that would do that, because that is my approach, you know, like before action, I will like I am the person that can do these things. Whether that is being sexy, like I will try my best to be sexy then, because this person is sexy, you know.
Yeah.
But in that role, and I remember I did this in Vietnam. It was a long time ago. A very good friend of the lead, and I had a scene where it was supposed to be like I'll give you another story after this about the same show. But it was like day 4 or 5. We were like filming 7 or 8 days, and the script was like definitely like this is an abusive husband. This is a toxic husband. I don't hit her, but like it's as close to. And
Mm.
like she would tell me like I don't want to kiss you, and he'd be like I know you want to, you know, uh, which I'm not okay with. And for some reason, I'm okay if that's the villain, and then she ends up with somebody else, or she gets rid of him.
Yeah.
But in this one, it was that she gets back together with him because he changed it. I don't like that, so I don't do those verticals anymore. But anyways, we're day 5, and I have this scene where it's supposed to be like I'm pushing her onto the bed, and she's like, stop it," and we're kissing, and then like I take off my shirt, and she's like, "Stop it," and then I kind of go in for a kiss again, and she slaps me, and then I'm like, then I go out. But to be a person that could like push her onto the bed, I guess that could be like BDSM stuff, but then like to kind of kiss when somebody tells you no.
Yeah. It's a bit far.
And I was like, we said cut, and I cried. I was like just full on crying for like 10 minutes. And I'm such a good friend of the girl. And she was like, kind of like, we're good friends. It wasn't in a bad way, but because I was that person that would kiss someone when they said no. And that was like, I never want to feel this way ever in my life again. So that was like, I hit a brick there. It was like, there's no alternate universe where this could be the case, you know? But the fun thing about that story is like again, this was the beginning of verticals. We're talking, 2024, beginning of 2024. Um, and the fun thing is we're day 5 in, and after that scene and after a few other scenes, we filmed like 80% of the vertical at this point. The director was a new director, everything was new, and they showed us how they wanted it to be. And they wanted it to be like 50 Shades of Grey.
Nah.
So like the script is full on translation of like him going in and her saying no, but what they wanted was for me to like very sexily go in and her to kind of give in, but then also like, oh, I want to, but I can't. But we didn't know
Oh.
this until like day 5, day 6. So we're like, we played like 5 days of this being like, he is a fucking abusive husband. And then like day 6, we realized they didn't want an abusive husband. They wanted just like that pull and pull, like push and pull kind of romantic couple. So that is like a big thing of being lost in translation of seeing these things of him going in, her saying no, and we see that as abuse. But what they meant was him kissing her down her neck, and she really wants to, but then she's like, "Oh, we shouldn't."
Yeah.
And
Misinterpretation.
there's a very big difference there.
Yeah.
Like portraying that character. One is an abusive guy. One is they have their reasons for why they don't want to do this, but they both want to.
Yeah. Like, did you read the full script before doing that? Or like,
No, that's why I'm now demanding
yeah,
to see full scripts before. This
because
was
of
my
that?
second or third vertical. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you get hired and people give you whatever you negotiate rates and whatnot, and then you get the script. So it's kind of I don't know. I'll never do that again. I've done villains, but it somehow that feels very different. I don't want to portray somebody who does a bad thing and then still winning at the end. You know, then I want to lose at the end to be like, don't be with a guy like this. You know?
That is a major red flag.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry you had to experience that.
Don't be. I've kind of had this walk with myself about why I'm into acting and wanting to kind of motivate people or inspire people, and because movies have been such an inspiration for me. Like truthfully, stories, whether it's movies or books, have really changed my life. And if I can give some of that back to people, I'd be so thankful for that. And when I went to a lot, should I then only portray roles like Notebook, where it's like such a, you know, I love the
Yeah.
movie, or Mr. Perfect or Superman for that matter. And then I realized myself that like a lot of times movies that portray bad stuff is also making such a big difference on the world. And here in Korea, we had this show coming out named The Glory, which is about, you know, it's about school bullying and that kind of stuff. And obviously the actors in that one did an amazing job, but they brought forth so much good things and they made the country really like we have to stop this school bullying because it's really bad.
Yeah.
So portraying bad people can also make a good change, you know? So I'm not against portraying bad people. I just don't want the bad people to end up winning in the end.
Yeah, because in a way, you need to make people aware of what's going on.
Yes.
But yeah, yeah, they could have gave you the full script. That way you would have a different approach to, yeah.
Again, that's politics that we're trying not to get into. Yeah.
Nope, nope, let's not do that. Nope,
Even
nope, nope.
like I mean, but even if you think in Hollywood, it's like you don't receive the script normally until you accept the role. You know, it's very few do, and you need to write and sign NDAs and everything before you even receive the script. So I mean, the whole thing about receiving scripts before signing any contracts, it's not a thing really.
I'm sorry.
No, it's a. I just hope that people don't watch bad stuff because then I have to
Yeah.
like that's the I can't really change the industry, but hopefully people if you don't like abusive verticals, don't watch abusive verticals. You know, that's how we kind of change.
Well, I feel like the only reason those sorts of verticals are still in circulation or like being produced in general is because vertical dramas are like the new big thing and everybody's watching everything.
Yep.
So that people don't understand. Well, I'm just gonna stop talking because I'm gonna go into the politics again.
Yeah, let's try not to get there. But yeah, it is they definitely do want to kind of hit everybody and they want it to be something for everybody. And I think being in an abusive relationship or being in a talk with toxic people, I think most people have some sort of familiarity to that. Hopefully not the fact that they've been married for 10 years and I don't know how
Yeah.
shitty like how bad his stories are, but I think it's something people can relate to in a way as well. And I think that's what the verticals are trying to hit most of the time. It's relatable in a weird way, in like an exaggerated way, but we all
Yeah.
want Mr. Prince Charming to come meet us, and he is also a quadrillionaire. Like that is a good dream to have, you know? We can relate to this.
And there's
Oh, my
me who,
girlfriend now, she just was hiding the $1 trillion she had. Well, that's great.
oh
I'm not going to say
no,
no to this.
I would definitely not say no. No,
So,
like the ones that I relate to is like, what is it? Uh, what's it freaking called now? young adult. It's like
Right.
campus,
Yep. So I think in a weird way, unfortunately enough, being with somebody abusive is something people can relate to.
which is messed up.
And we want to for them to feel bad or get revenge on them, but then we can't. And then in these dramas we can. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I'm gonna run through this before you go. Like,
Okay, we got 5 minutes
ah,
here. Sure.
oh, favorite animal.
Wolf.
Oh, what?
They're like the same. They're like kind of the same.
I, okay.
Eagle.
That's
Eagle. I changed eagle. I have a wolf tattoo and I have an eagle tattoo.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, that just completely wipes out my next question. Cat person or dog person?
Dog person. But I
Favorite
grew up
food?
with I grew up with
Oh,
huskies. I grew up with like sled dogs, so I'm
that's
like
cool.
I'm not a fan of small dogs. I'm a fan of big dogs.
Yeah, I hate little ankle biters.
Then I'd rather get a cat. So I mean,
Nothing
yeah,
wrong with a cat.
cats are amazing.
Favorite food?
Curry?
Do what?
Curry?
Just in
Like
general? Like,
yeah, like you have Indian curry, Japanese curry. Yeah, salmon.
I don't know. I'm just Australian. I'm like a toddler. I eat just general general food.
Tacos? There's a few.
Favorite color?
It used to be red. I think it's changed to blue.
It's not exactly dream country, but like country you want to visit.
There's still a few I haven't visited that I should have visited. The next one on my agenda is I want to go to the Amazon River. I want to be on the Amazon River in a boat for like a few days, and then I'll just go back home. But that is like the next on my bucket list. I go on like bucket list travel, so I try to cross them all off, and like just being on the Amazon River in a boat is like the next one. So
Pack me in your suitcase next time. I
uh,
I would experience something. Anything. Favorite season?
favorite season, everything except from winter. I'm like, I hate the cold, and I say that as a Norwegian, but that's why I left the country. I truly hate the cold.
That's fair.
Spring is beautiful,
Valid.
autumn is beautiful, and summer has so many amazing things with it. So it's hard
Yeah,
to
I
say.
think that's why I hate the heat. I hate summer because I live in Australia.
Summer in Australia is pretty rough, though. I
Oh,
gotta admit,
it's brutal. It is hot here now, and look at like this.
crazy.
I don't know what I'm doing with it. Favorite actor?
Ooh, Henry Cavill.
Favorite movie?
Not, I'm gonna say Henry Cavill too. Not necessarily for his acting, but just who he is, what he represents.
Yes.
I really like that. Favorite movie? Notebook.
Favorite music genre?
No, no. Classical? Classical or probably classical. Classical.
Do you have a favorite singer and song? Or like band and song?
Not really.
I need a
Not
song.
a song. Ed Sheeran has a lot of good ones. Um, that's not classical music though.
Mm,
What is so again? He's kind of like pop. What is like Siggy
yeah,
Alberts and that kind of those kind of what is that genre?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Louis Capaldi. I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, he's good.
Mm, yeah, I'll say Pointless by Louis Capaldi.
Thank you. I'm gonna have to cut it there because it's 8 o'clock and you're
Yeah, it
gonna have
is.
to go.
Okay,
But
thank you. It
thank
was a
you.
pleasure meeting you, and thank you so much for this.
Likewise. And I can't wait for part two.